Hello everyone, my name is Steven Treacle and welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing the Friday the 13th franchise and I'm currently on uh, Jason X. So that is the movie I'll be reviewing today. I'll be doing two other reviews as well to finish out the Friday the 13th series. Um, Freddy vs. Jason and the remake in 2009. But let's get to Jason X. Jason X was released in 2002. It had an $11 million budget and it made $17 million at the box office, making it the least successful box office movie, surpassing that of Jason Takes Manhattan, Part 8. This movie was directed by James Isaac and written by Todd Farmer. This movie has a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb, and CinemaScore, who polls audiences when they go to see this movie in theaters, gave this one an average grade of a C on an A plus to F grade scale. And this movie stars Kane Hodder as Jason, Lexa Doig as Rowan, and Lisa Ryder as KM14, along with a bunch of other no-name actors and actresses. But this movie takes place in the future of Camp Crystal Lake, and Rowan is wanting Jason to be frozen and preserved so they can till they figure out what they can do with him. Because they tried every form of execution and it didn't work. But then there's corporate guys that want them to put them on display and make money. It's always about money. And when they're trying to get him to into the truck to transfer, of course, they remove the rag which he was covered with by a guard. But it turns out he already escaped, and the guard was underneath the rag or blanket, whatever you want to call it. And of course, he kicks ass with everybody and kills everybody, some of the kills were pretty badass. The one with the chain, I like when he hit him with the chain. Also, he took that long arrow and just threw it right through the guy's back. The first about 10 minutes of this movie is actually pretty sweet. But then, once it gets to outer space, it's 400 years later. Rowan and Jason were fighting, and he was locked in their freezer, if you call it, and she started the process to freeze him. Well, he jammed his knife through the door, and not only did it expose her, but it locked down the room, and they weren't found till 400 plus years later, and they're brought aboard this ship, and they're headed to Earth 2. Earth 1 is dead. The oceans, nothing will sustain life. So they're on their way to Earth 2. And of course, they meet this professor and his students and some other fellows who work on the ship. And then, of course, you got the Grunts, who are a military group in charge of security. And Jason just has a field day. But they unfreeze her and bring her back. And they leave Jason just to thaw out. Of course, he's laying on the table. The girl cuts off his mask, lifts it up, and she sees what he looks like and leaves the mask on. Eventually, Jason wakes up, but the way Kane Hodder just sits straight up is badass. I love that. He doesn't make a sound or nothing. He just looks around like, this is different. And the best kill in this movie is right then and there in that little room. The girl's face gets frozen, and then he smashes it on the counter. It's freaking awesome. I love it. That's the only good thing about this movie. That kill, anyway. The positives, I said that kill. The first 10 minutes of the movie are really good. Some of the other kills are okay. But, this is just a bad movie. I went to the theaters to watch this one as well, and I don't know. It was cool at first because we got a Friday the 13th movie, and it had been almost a decade until we had our last one, which was Jason Go to Hell. So I was excited. But at the end of the day, it's a very disappointing movie. It's even worse than uh, Jason Takes Manhattan. And yeah, let's get to the negatives. Characters, the actors, the whole idea of having him in space, and it's just terrible. I did forget to mention one other good thing about the movie when they had him in that hologram where he's back at Crystal Lake and the two girls are there laying there naked and he just beats them to death with the sleeping bags. That's a funny moment in the movie. Uh, Along with when Jason comes back after he's regenerated and KM14 goes to kick the crap out of him as she did previously, and it doesn't phase him and he just knocks her head off. That was funny too. But yeah, there's too many negatives to outweigh the positives. Cheesy lines in here. The one scene I really hate is when the gentleman is he falls onto that big screw and screws all the way down. And of course, when they find him in Radio Back, they said they find so and so, and he asks how his condition is, and they come back with the cheesy line, "He's screwed." I hate that line. I hate that. I hate that scene. I actually can't stand it. Another scene I hate in this movie is with the damn professor and a student who's trying to get a passing grade, and she has the nipple pictures and wine. We could have just done with the just seeing her with those things and didn't have to see anything else. But no, they wanted to show her on top of him pinching his nipples, and come on, man, really? No one wants to see that. That's another scene I hate. Other than that, it's just this movie is not very good. It's not one I watch every year. I just watched it recently just so I can remember and do this review. But it's a bad movie, and yeah, I won't recommend it. But if you want to watch it, by all means. So with that, I'm going to give Jason X a 2 out of 10. It's a bad movie. And if it wasn't for those few positives, it would get a 1. But I bumped it up to 2. But this movie should have never been made unless they come up with something different. And it should have never taken place in space. Just do with what works and take it to Camp Crystal Lake. But other than that, give me your thoughts and opinions on this movie. Did you like it? Did you think it was okay? Or just let me know in the comment section below. Is it your favorite in the series? God help you if it is, but that is your opinion. And if you like this review, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's talk movies. I love talking about movies. I love the horror genre. That is my favorite one. And Friday the 13th is my favorite series. So definitely check out my other reviews of the other movies. And I also did the Halloween franchise. My next franchise will be the Nightmare on Elm Street to complete my big 3 horror franchise review. And this is being done leading up to the new Halloween movie that comes out in October. So other than that, I thank you for watching this movie review, and I'll see you guys next time in my next movie review, which I'll be reviewing Freddy vs. Jason. So until then, I thank you and check you later.